Okay.
Can you say it one more time? Memory's the first to go, and that went quick.
This is Cox Keller, and this... Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'm totally... This is Keller Cox, and this is Real Life, Real Music.
Ready? Howdy, this is Keller Cox, and this is Real Life, Real Music.
Real Life, Real Music Radio with your host, Kyle Hutton.
What's going on, Woodlands, Texas?
Obviously,
good to be here.
Obviously, I'm going to say this just based on their response. Obviously, not enough of the Do-Si-Do coffee yet, because we're going to get them woken up.
Yeah, I'm wired right now.
We've been drinking coffee since
I'm
like 3
1 cup
o'clock.
in. Yeah. So.
Well, Keller, how are you doing, man?
I'm good. It's good to be here. Thank you for having me.
Man, it's my pleasure. You know, again, as I mentioned to these fine folks, I started hearing your name first kind of through the Aggie Network, but then I started hearing it from people like Cleto Cordero, Flatland, and Josh Abbott, and some of the other guys that are out there doing this thing. And, you know, one of my favorite things about this show is when I get to meet somebody new and experience their music. And so, man, I'm just glad you're here, and thanks for taking time out of the middle of the week to come do a show with us.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
All right, well, pick up that guitar over there. I'm going to ask you a ton of questions tonight, but before we jump into that, man, I'd like you to just pick a song that you want to kick us off with this evening. Tell us a little bit about it, and let's get this show going.
Okay. I might start off with a song that I don't usually get to start off with, one that really started everything. I feel like it'll kickstart our conversation.
Awesome. You know how, I'll tell you this, after doing this show so many times, you know, and I don't always know exactly what I'm walking into. Any Chris Knight fans in the audience? Okay. When Chris Knight sat up here, first off, I didn't know if he was just going to be angry every time I asked him a question, or if he was going to shoot me like he does a lot of the people in his songs, you know? And so I never completely know what I'm going to get whenever I'm working with somebody for the first time. And as soon as Keller showed up and we met, the conversation started here during sound check, continued in the green room. And so y'all are already like coming to Old Home Week. We're old buddies by now. We're just going to continue the conversation here on stage tonight.
Yes, sir. This song, as we were talking about earlier, I went to Texas A&M. I grew up on 2000s country music and didn't know what Texas country was until I was fully involved at A&M and going out and dancing every Thursday night, and really got what we call the bug, caught the bug of songwriting. And this song is really what started it off for me. And I figured it's a special one to start with, because we usually don't even play this song in our opener set anymore. It's almost been phased out at this point. I think it'd be a good place to start the night. It's called California Cowgirl. California cowgirl, come here. Would you let me spin you around this room? 'Cause I never seen anything wild as you. You're a West Coast Southern dream come true. When she's Californian, she plays the part. The Orange County queen of my heart. But she'll two-step around you with those Vans that she wears. Oh, you can't find this nowhere. She's a West Coaster Southern mess. Dance around me in her sundress. She's throwing my heart for a whirl. She's like a wave crashing over me. Sunset in my memory. California cowgirl. sin, well, she's at her best. With her blue eyes, blonde hair, cotton dress. With those boots and her jeans on Woodlands, Texas, Wednesday night. The man will close down the place every time. She's a West Coaster, Southern mess. Dance around me in her sundress. She's throwing my heart for a whirl. She's like a wave crashing over me. Sunset in my memory. California cowgirl. Oh, don't go nowhere. Don't go nowhere. Would you stay with me right here? My California cowgirl. 'Cause you're a West Coaster and Southern mess. Dance around me in your sundress. You're throwing my heart for a whirl. You're like a wave crashing over me. Sunset in my memory. You're the answer to my wildest dreams. Take my hand, come with me. California cowgirl. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Very nice. Okay, so from the early days, huh? That one's from the early.
That was like one of the first, really.
One of the very first.
I
okay.
tried before, but never clicked, and that was the first one that it was like, I felt like I had something to say, and wrote it probably within like a couple hours, you know?
Yeah.
Sit down on the couch, and yeah, and then started playing it out. You know, a part of my story, you know, I never really had the dream of just, you know, listen to country music and then I want to, you know, do it as a career. And started playing guitar in 8th grade, and my dad was the one who's here tonight, Mr. Robert Cox, and he started asking me to play these 3-song concerts at our campfire in our backyard, and that carried over to college when he wasn't asking me to pull out my guitar.
Yeah.
And that song started making its way into those campfire sessions, and that's when I really found out, man, I think I want to start doing this thing, because people would say, man, you wrote that, you know? And then
yeah.
I was like, whoa, I could do that. If I did it once, probably do it again, you know?
Yeah.
And then just caught the bug. And
man, that is so cool. Okay, so I want to fast forward before we like dive in more to history, and of course, because I first learned to write songs when I was supposed to be studying in College Station, so you and I kind of probably share some of that same history. But I want to ask you about a song that is on the most recent studio project that you put out that I understand might be a single sometime soon, and that's a song called "Good Again, Amen."
Heck yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if you'd tell us about that.
Absolutely.
one. I'm always personally, just because the whole, you know, mystery of the universe and God and faith and all that has been something that's been a big part of my life, and just my exploration of the journey that I'm on. Anytime I see a title that has something that I feel like has a spiritual reference in it, I always end up kind of gravitating towards that. So tell me a little bit about that song.
Absolutely, this is perfect, and I think it's awesome that we played like the first one I wrote, and that's probably more the most recent. So you get an accurate picture of what life has looked like over the past 4 or 5 years. But you know, when I first went to the page to write California Cowgirl, I was telling you this earlier, but you know, writing has never been a foreign concept to me with my faith, you know, and following after Jesus. I've always tried to put my thoughts on paper, and really, journal. That's just been the way I've connected with the Lord most. And so translate to songwriting, and it wasn't like a foreign concept to me. And then I start writing all these songs, and then we get to it's my 5th year at Texas A&M that I started writing Good Again, Amen. And I had made the mistake of scrolling too much on social media a little bit, and I felt like, from my perspective, it felt like the bad guys were winning. And I remember growing up when the good guys always won. Like people like, Indiana Jones, Star Wars, you had Luke Skywalker, and then John Wayne and all these characters. And it felt like in the world, the way I perceived it was that, man, does good win anymore? And so I wrote down about half of it and then took it into the room with some songwriting friends of mine, because I felt like I'd been writing so much at this point that I knew I could just bang my head against the wall and finish it, and it could be a halfway decent song, or it just felt like this idea that I needed to offer to 2 other people for their advice and wisdom, and hey, can we really shepherd and steward this song and make it what it needs to be? And so that's what ended up happening. I took it in the room with 2 good buddies of mine. I think all that to say, that faith has remained with me. It's been the base of it. I never started just, I'm going to write songs and start writing in a journal. It was always journaling. And I think that bleeds through to my writing without, because I don't try. I like to, I'm not the guy that gets up on stage and gives an altar call. You either know that I live my life in a certain way or you don't. And if I feel moved to do that, I will totally do that, Yeah. When I play at the Ryman one day, hopefully that might be the right place to do that. But here, when I feel like tonight is another, you asked the question, so I'm all, hey, let's go. But
tonight, like if we don't do an altar call, we might at least pass the plate, So,
hey, I know a guy. I know a gas tank. So that's kind of that story. So the faith reference of that, I think it's always been within my writing, whether it's not a choice, it's more of just who I am, and it bleeds through to the songwriting. And that's what Good Again, Amen is there's that line in verse 2. It's the words you said meant something, and the words in red meant more. And I think that's my story, and that's what Good Again, Amen. That's why I chose to make it the title track. This album is about who I am, and I'm not trying to be anyone else in this scene, I think there's everyone, the way I see it is everyone has a lane to run in, and we're all supposed to be in our lanes. And it's easy sometimes to look left and look right and be like, well, that lane's moving a little bit faster than the one that I'm in. Maybe I should. But at the end of the day, my truest self, my truest non-comparison self wants to be right where I'm at and where I want it supposed to be. So,
well, play that one for us.
Sir, no ma'am, look 'em in the eye when you're shaking hands. Growing up, you're taught to treat somebody like you ought to. These days feels like we're so caught up, we all lost sight, who's wrong, who's right. We all pick sides like life ain't hard enough. What happened to the good guys? What happened to the cowboys? What happened to the times get tough, but you still stick around, boys? I know it ain't the same as back then, but sometimes I get tired of watching all the bad guys when I could use a little good again. Amen. Said meant something. The words in red meant more. What happened to the good guys? What happened to the cowboys? What happened to the times get tough, but you still stick around, boys? I know it ain't the same as back then, but sometimes I get tired of watching all the bad guys when I a little good again. Hey, happened to the cowboys? What happened to the times get tough, but you still stick around? Boys, what happened to the good guys? What happened to the cowboys? What happened to the times get tough, but you still stick around? Boys, I know it's the same as back then, but sometimes I get tired of watching all the bad guys when I could use a little good again. Amen. Oh, good again. Amen. What happened to the good guys? Oh, what happened to the cowboys?
Yeah, man.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool. Okay, so where where does your first memory of musical inspiration come from? Like where did you first, you talked about writing that first song and singing around the campfires and getting the bug there for
Yeah.
like, hey man, maybe I can write a song. But let's go further back. And where did you first, that you remember, feel music like really as a tool of like evoking emotion?
Yeah.
Where did you feel that?
Man,
and
what
was it?
There's like two songs that come to
Okay.
mind, and one I'm excited about to share one of them. The first one was like driving I was in 8th grade, and we were getting bused to a football game, and I had an iPod Nano with the earphones, and it was Springsteen by Eric Church.
Okay.
There was something that moved me, and I didn't have the words for it, but it was just this song that just made me feel a certain type of way. And looking back, it was like me wanting to be a songwriter, but I just didn't have the words. I didn't play an instrument at that point in my life. So that was one of them. And the other one was a song called Run by George Strait. And I got to see him perform it to 110,000 people the other night. And it was the coolest experience ever. But those two songs, I mean, they're like, those are the two songs that come to mind that really, within country music, that just moved me. Like I just didn't have the words, but there was something in them, that spirit of just what a good song is,
Yeah. I'm constantly reminded when I bring the young guys up on stage how old I am. Because when he said Springsteen, I'm like, oh, yeah, which one? Born to Run? Or,
Right.
like.
Yeah, the song that was born out of lots of songs that came before.
Yes.
Exactly.
No, I get it. But, I think that, that's the amazing thing to me about music is its ability to, take you someplace in your emotions, and then every time you hear it, take you right back, right, to that spot.
Right, music is like taking a picture, with your mind. I think, because you can play a song, and we could play a song in here, and everyone that experienced that song would go back to a certain place. You could say where you were on the road, what stoplight you were about to stop at, where you're about to turn.
Yeah.
It's pretty special.
So you mentioned it was like 110, almost 111,000 people at Kyle Field.
Yeah.
This past weekend to see George Strait, and but rumor has it that before that show, Keller Cox and a handful of other Aggies were at a place that if you spend any time at A&M, don't try to tell me you didn't go to the Dixie Chicken, because it is absolutely an iconic institution at A&M, and
It's part of every degree plan, I feel like.
I think it is, and it's part of the dismantling of some degree.
Yeah, I know my
plans.
brother got a full minor in it. My older brother got a minor at the Chicken. I did not get that far, but yeah, we got to play at the Dixie Chicken, and it was actually my second time to get to play there. Me and Jacob Stelly played at the Chicken one time when we were in college, and it's getting to play at the Chicken. You've played at you said you used to pick songs with Roger Krager on the porch.
Back in the day, Krager and I and a few of the other guys that were in school trying to write songs and see how long we could stay on our parents' payroll and stay in school. would go pick on the back porch at the chicken.
I feel like that's an Aggie's dream, is to play live music at the Dixie Chicken.
Yeah.
It was the 50th anniversary of the Chicken. So pretty nuts to get to be a part of it. And there was a lot of Aggie singers were there. Max Stalling was there.
Yep.
And he was like, man, I'm getting to play the 50th, and I played the 25th anniversary. And someone turned to me and they're like, you're going to play the 75th anniversary one day. I was like, oh man, that'll be the day. 25 years down the road.
Well, cheers me and Max, because we probably won't be there. Sorry, Max. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
No, it's awesome. And A&M has such a great, rich tradition of music, whether it is, from the Aggie band to the different musicians that have come out of town and out of the Brazos Valley. What a great place to kind of catch the bug and then try to pay homage to the people that came before you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some pretty big shoes to fill, when you start thinking of all the Aggies that have come through and made a career, for themselves.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Okay, so let's really fast forward, because you and I talked upstairs about the fact that you have been riding up a storm lately. And so I want to go out on a limb and ask you if you'd be willing to maybe give us at Real Life Real Music a sneak peek.
Yeah, absolutely.
At something you've written that may wind up on a future record, future Keller Cox record.
Would love to.
Okay.
The first one that comes to mind is a song called I Bet You Do Too. And the thing I've been writing a lot, like Kyle said recently, a bunch. And that when you're writing more and more, it causes you to look at life in a different way, because you know that if you're trying to write every day, the next day you're going to sit down with your guitar and you might as well have something to draw from. So you start walking, at least I have in my experience, started walking through my day and trying to really listen intently in conversations that you're having with other people, or, look at things in a different way, not just, fast forward through your day and go 100 miles an hour, but really try to slow down and take everything, for what it's worth. And this song in particular is one of those songs. I was moving fast one day and I sat down for a second. I'd just gotten in my truck and I was feeling anxious. And, as a young artist, there's all these things that you carry. I'm the tour manager, the merch guy. I am everything on the driver, and there's so much that we carry as the up and comer. And anyways, I said to myself, man, there's got to be someone else out there that feels exactly like I do. And the phrase came to me, I bet you do too. And went in the room in Nashville, and magic happened, and that's what we wrote. So this is it. It's called I Bet You Do Too. It's another lonely morning in the four corners of my mind. The sun's coming up, but I'm stuck here inside. Hide behind the blinds. Hide behind the blinds. We're all driving like we got somewhere to go. We're all acting like we got it all together when we all know it's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time. I wanna sleep through the night without a nightmare in my head. I wanna look in the mirror for once and see a smile instead. I wanna skip rocks like I used to. I wanna not care like the kids do. I bet you do too. I bet you do too. I wanna trade the small screen in my pocket for a front porch view. I wanna make a pot of coffee, not think of all I gotta do. I got a lot to do. I bet you do too. wanna sleep through the night without a nightmare in my head. I wanna look in the mirror for once and see a smile instead. I wanna skip rocks like I used to. I wanna not care like the kids do. I bet you do too. I bet you wanna see a different POV. Live a little more wild, live a little more free. If you're anything like me. I wanna sleep through the night without a nightmare in my head. I wanna look in the mirror for once and see a smile instead. I wanna skip rocks like I used to. I wanna not care like the kids do. I bet you do too. I bet you do too.
Good song.
Thank you.
Yeah. You know what I forgot to do at the very beginning of the show that I'm supposed to do? Video, we good? We're good? Audio, we good? Recording back there? Everybody good? All right. Are y'all good? Is everybody okay so far? Okay. All right. While I'm at this spot, when I'm remembering things, all right? Because they say the memory is the first to go, Keller. Be careful. We need to get a liner to kick off the radio show. All right? So
I hardly know her. I'm just kidding. We can get a liner for sure.
This is Keller Cox, and this is Real Life, Real Music.
You tell me when to go.
That's what I need. And then I need y'all to go absolutely nuts, okay?
And then we're going to play a drinking game.
Yeah, pretend we're playing beer pong or something, all right? But I need y'all to go nuts until I go like this, and it's going to feel like forever, but it won't be. It'll only be like 20 seconds, all right? Okay.
Can you say it one more time? Memory's the first to go, and that went quick.
This is Cox Keller, and this, oh, sorry. No, I'm telling you. This is Keller Cox, and this is Real Life, Real Music.
Ready? Howdy, this is Keller Cox, and this is Real Life, Real Music.
Man, I knew y'all were here tonight. We can't see all these lights. Golly, that was awesome. Thank y'all.
I wasn't joking about the drinking game. Is it cool if I lead us in a little something?
Sure,
so at my live shows, it's tradition. We play this game called Sips. I say the word sips, y'all say the word sips, and we take a sip of our drink together. Let's try it out. Sips! Sips! There we go. Mm-hmm. You can be drinking water. You can be drinking whiskey. You can be drinking beer.
Whatever you want.
As long as you take a sip. It's not chugs or shotguns, just sips.
Just sips.
Yep.
All right. Hopefully you say it often. I'm just kidding. I'm trying to just have a little fun here tonight. Come on, guys. Okay, so I want to ask you about a song called Sticks and Stones.
Heck yeah.
Tell me about that one.
I'd love to tell you about it. Trying to think. So Sticks and Stones, the first time I ever put it to paper, I was in a library at A&M studying for a final. If I remember correctly, it was a final in horticulture 409, which in other words was a wine tasting.
Interesting.
My junior year at Texas A&M, I took a wine tasting class. I needed like 3 more hours to get my ring, and I was serving as a yell leader, and I wanted to take an easy 3 hours. Turned out to be the hardest class I had that semester. There was no it was all fill in the blank, short answer, no multiple choice. And I saw someone, anyways, this is the songwriter in me. I could tell I'm long-winded if y'all couldn't tell.
You're all right.
But I feel like I have the privilege to be long-winded tonight. So anyways, I'm sitting there in the library studying, and someone walks by me, and a lot of feelings come up. There's a person in particular had started some rumors about me, and I didn't know how to process it. Didn't even date this person, but started some rumors that I'd heard. And man, I wrote down words. What did I ever do to you to be treated like I was? What did someone ever do to you for you to do me like you did, I think is the first way I wrote it down. Put it in a piece of scratch paper, went home for Christmas, come back January, and I'm cleaning out my binders and find it. And I was almost going to throw it in the trash. And I felt like there was something there, and so I decided to re-enter into all those feelings, which is not a healthy thing necessarily, but as songwriters, it's our favorite thing to like sit with really sad feelings because we might get something really good, or sit with really happy feelings. And my wife holds me accountable to getting out of that a lot. So, but this is one of those songs where it worked out. It's one of the fans' favorite songs, and I ended up entering back into that feeling. I think it was at the Dixie Chicken, and I wrote the rest the next week. And awesome. It's called Sticks and Stones. I've never been known to start fights and stir the pot. I've never tried. I've always been known as Mr. Nice Guy, but your words, they cut like a knife, straight to the bone. And I've never known a hurt like you handed to me. What did I ever do to you to be treated like I was? What did someone ever do to you for you to do me like you've done? They say sticks and stones break your bones, and words never hurt you, but you hurt everyone. And just so you know, when she asks how you are, well, she doesn't really give a shit, 'cause her MO is spreading what she knows, 'cause her love language is gossip. And this he said, she said stuff gets old real quick, and I ain't one for it, but what did I ever do to you to be treated like I was? What did someone ever do to you for you to do me like you've done? They say sticks and stones break your bones, and words never hurt you, but you hurt everyone. And two wrongs won't right the hurt I was handed. And you say you love Jesus, then answer this question: what did I ever do to you to be treated like I was? What did someone ever do to you for you to do me like you've done? They say sticks and stones break your bones, and words never hurt you, but you hurt everyone. You hurt everyone.
Do we have to edit that out, Corliss?
No.
Okay, cool.
I'm asking our radio expert here if I have to edit that
Heck
word
yeah.
out.
He's pushing it.
We're good.
You know,
We're good.
sometimes I had this moment in my mind. Y'all never know this, but like as a song, like a performer, there's like so many different things. Like singing is the last thing I think about up here. That's muscle memory. Like I'm having conversations with myself, and then when we got to that second verse, I was like, well, this is the conversation that I was having. Well, this is a radio interview. This is going to be on the radio. Do I say that word? Do I say the clean version? This is all going on in my head while I'm just up here just playing guitar, and you never know.
When you sang that, it was kind of weird. It just kind of worked, you know?
It's weird. It's like it rhymed or something.
It's like started to me too, so you both asked me for permission.
There you go.
Yep.
I should have just looked at
Okay.
Corliss and been like,
Just in case anybody from the federal, the FCC is listening, Corliss said we could leave that
yeah.
in.
On that note,
Maverick
hey,
100.9 from College Station.
Wow. Yeah. Put that
Put
in
the
writing.
towers in Wheelock, just in case anybody
On
was
that
asking.
note, Sips.
Perfect. And I picked water tonight. Okay, so I had a question I was going to ask you. Okay, let's not gloss over an important thing that you kind of just said in passing, because I'll tell you this. For as long as I can remember, I've asked my mom and dad why they named me Kyle. And my dad, class of 63, will pretty much swear upon his mother's grave that he did not name me after Kyle Field. And then my mom winks at me and says, yeah, you're named after Kyle Field. So you just kind of glossed over the fact about being an Aggie yell leader. Not only were you an Aggie yell leader, you were the head Aggie yell leader, which for anybody
That's
that
right.
knows anything about A&M, that's like a big deal. That's kind of a big deal. So I want to know, how have the things that you learned about managing a crowd at Kyle Field, or the things that you learned about leading a team,
Heck yeah.
have translated into what you do on a stage in the music business?
Man, that is a loaded question. Here we go. I think the first part I want to answer is how it translates to a crowd. You know, as the junior yell leader, you're really just told where to go, and they say jump and you say how high. You're really just along for the ride. The head yell leader kind of leads the group. That's the dynamic, is the head yell leader is in charge of making sure that the other four guys, which if y'all don't know this, A&M does not have cheerleaders, all right? Don't listen to social media these days. There's a lot of videos of myself circulating around. We have yell leaders, all right? It's been that way since 1908. 5 yell leaders are elected by the student body. And anyways, the head yell leader's main job is to make sure that the other 4 guys show up and they don't have to take care of anything. Everything's taken care of. All the behind the scenes work is done. And also the head yell leader is charged with leading Kyle Field and also all other student body events. We do over 300 events a year. So home and away football games, men's and women's basketball, soccer, volleyball. But your job is to make sure that the crowd is engaged and the 12th man is fully activated. And really, I don't know if y'all know this, but they give the head yell leader, they have like scripts. And we have, you know, there's all these TV timeouts and different advertisements, but there are sections that it's my job to choose what yell that we're going to do. And my job is to say, okay, should we do that yell? The game is, okay, it's a 3rd down. Okay, we're not going to do that yell. That yell isn't as energizing. And you're basically like, it's like queuing songs on Spotify. When you're like in charge of the aux cord, that's how it is at being a yell leader. You're in charge of the atmosphere of Kyle Field. So you're like, sometimes you cue the wrong one. You're like, oh, I shouldn't have done that one. Or it's too long, and they start the play, and there's a yell that went too long, and now everyone's not doing the yell anymore.
Yeah.
So you really had all these things going on to translate to a crowd and right now in my career, I'm the opener. So my main job is the opener for bands like Flightline Cavalry, Josh Abbott Band, you know, William Clark Green. Our job as the opener is to make sure that by the time that the headliner takes the stage, that y'all are engaged and ready to have a good time. And so I've taken all what I learned from being a yell leader, and it's the same thing. It's when it's not as on the fly, but because you plan out your set list, you can't just, maybe they did that in the old days, but turn to your band, we're going to do this one this time. But you create a set list, and it's, man, I want to have a moment where it's energizing, and then I want to have a moment where it's down, and then I'm going to play an old school song. And then there's also moments between, which is the SIPs game. That was born out of this, man, I want to have this where I can energize the crowd and have this moment. This is like almost like a yell in a way. Like, when do I pull out the SIPs game? And then when the crowd starts engaging and it's someone yells SIPs from the back, I'm like, ooh, I know what I'm dealing with. This crowd is here. If no one says it, I'm like, dude, we have to work tonight. Yeah. There's shows where it's like, it feels like work, and then there's shows where it doesn't feel like work. But that's
what does it feel like tonight?
Tonight's not work. This is all fun.
Okay,
SIPs.
perfect. Just making sure. Hey, he answered right, y'all. Yeah.
This is my joy. You give me a microphone and tell me I can talk as long as I want to. Get ready. Buckle up, Buttercup. We are about to have a time.
Okay.
But so that's part one.
Yeah.
And then what was the part, how leading other people?
Yeah.
I think I kind of touched on it, but my job was to make sure that the other guys had no worries. And so the head yell leader would be in these meetings and taking care of things and fighting for them to have scholarships and all these different things. And now as a band leader, I'm not necessarily we have a bass player that does all the musical stuff, but it's my job to advance the shows, to pay the guys, to email them, to text them, to chase the shows, to fill the calendar. And it's the same exact thing. Our band is a 5-piece. Yeah. So I'm leading 4 other guys. Yeah. And I will say this, I failed as a head yell leader in ways, and I still fail as the front man in ways. And there's times where I've had to apologize to my other yell leaders for dropping the ball on something. And there was a time last week that I apologized to one of the bandmates because I had done something in an effort to make everyone happy. I had done something that wasn't necessarily the right call. And so they always say like leadership is a lonely place to be at the top, Not that I'm saying I'm at the top, but in our small Keller Cox music, I'm the front man, right? Yeah. And it's the same feeling as I was as the yell leader, like you're the guy, you're walking across campus, but at the end of the day, you walk into your dorm room and it's just you and your thoughts in the mirror. And that's the same way it is as a musician, So, yeah. But I'm very thankful for the opportunity of being a yell leader, because I don't think I'd be the musician or the leader I am within the band without that opportunity.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Okay, so I want you just in that stream of consciousness, pick out a song. Either pick out a song that you wrote while you were at A&M. Pick out a song that has to do with the stream of consciousness that we're on.
So. This is a cool story, Miss Lauren Loving. How you doing up there? So one of my junior yell leader buddy and my senior yell leader buddy was Mr. Jacob Huffman, and we could not be more opposite people. And we're best friends. He's serving our country. He's in the Marine Corps over in Japan right now. That's right. Anyways, we were sitting on a porch on Hollick Street. That's where all this started for me in College Station. That's where I wrote California Cowgirl and. Yep. Same house, and we're sitting on the porch exhausted from being yell leaders. We were juniors. We were tired. I think there were some beers. There may or may not have been a cigarette or two involved on the front porch, and we were just exhausted, worn thin. And I started this song, and it's called Tired. And this song is about being a yell leader, and now I feel like it's taken a new light about being a musician as well. And so I wasn't able to sing it about being a musician, but after 5 years of chasing it, and being on the road and grinding, I feel like I can see it in a new way. And I haven't played this song live probably in 4 years. So here we go. Here goes something. But yeah, Jacob wrote this one with me. Tired of being tired. Tired of wearing the same smile. Tired of acting like everything is okay when in reality it's really not. Tired of getting dressed up just to be let down. Tired of faking how I really feel right now, 'cause I feel so alone somehow. To be known by everybody and not be known is all that I've ever known. To be so worn out and tired that all you wanna do is go home, but you can't go home. You can't go home. You can't go home. I see the orange glow as it burns out. I smell like smoky bar and crown. And Mama would be disappointed if she found out, but it's the only thing we knew to try out. To be known by everybody and not be known is all that I've ever known. To be so worn out and tired that all you wanna do is go home, but you can't go home. We can't go home. Oh, we can't go home. We can't go home. We can't go home. I'm tired of being tired. I'm tired of wearing the same smile. Yeah, thank you.
Very nice.
Also, I didn't finish the story. I just said this random gal's name in the crowd. It's not some random gal. It happens to be Jacob Huffman's fiance that's sitting up top tonight. Thank you so much for being here. And they're getting married this fall. And I get to be his best man in his wedding. So, yeah.
Awesome. Congratulations. You're welcome. You're welcome.
But yeah, that's a special one, man. Thank you so much. I knew this was going to happen, that we were going to start talking and then a song would come up.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
There's no set list involved tonight.
Okay, you talk about bringing up a story and then not finishing it. So the girl that walked by you that started the rumor about you,
Yes, sir.
is she here tonight?
Absolutely not.
Oh, she's not. Okay.
She doesn't even know who she is, and
did
she
she
never
ever hear
will
the
know.
song?
Maybe, but I hope that she never knows it's about her. I don't think she'll know.
You are a nice guy, aren't you?
I really am. You know, when you write a song like that, you're like, you really hope they don't know what, you're like, it's not.
You're like, this song is not about you.
Right.
Oh man, that's funny. Are y'all having a good time tonight? I'm having a good time.
Yeah,
This
but
is
you
a lot
can
of
find
fun.
her on social media I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Okay.
Sips.
So, if you're at home and not driving your car, then
Right, there's some people
have a
playing
song.
chugs when they're watching the replay of this for sure.
Yeah, just don't do it in your vehicle. Okay. Gosh, where do I want to go next? Okay, from Houston, Texas, right?
Born and raised.
Born and raised in Houston, Texas. Okay.
I'm a city boy.
All right.
That plays country music for a living. I have no shame in saying that.
There you go. Well, a very good buddy of mine grew up right down the street from you, probably. and has made a career of this and still drives his bus around all over the state and makes a really good living. Guy by the name of Corey Morrow.
Heck
from
yeah.
Memorial Tech. Lived down
Yeah,
in
that's where I'm
Memorial.
from. It's Memorial.
And
So
yeah, man, makes a good living, writes great songs, especially the ones I write with him.
and you're thankful for that too, right?
Do what?
For writing them with him, right?
I love to write with Corey. He's a great dude. So, from Memorial, we talked about a couple of the songs that really kind of, reached down and grabbed you. But your musical experience really kind of started in the same place that I'm guessing you learned some of the first things about your faith and that part of who you are. Tell us a little bit about your musical background in the church and kind of how you first started using your musical talents.
Right, yes, sir. So I learned guitar when I was in 8th grade, and my first experience playing guitar was not country music. It was really playing in the church. I remember singing a song, it's 10,000 Reasons was my first song I got to sing behind a microphone. Sweat literally like dripping down my legs, shaking, and that was for a youth group at Bayou City Fellowship was where I first started playing in front of people got to lead in big church, which was fun, and they would let me play. They wouldn't have a 1/4 inch for my guitar, so I'd be up on stage playing along, but nothing was coming out because I was very green. Like the first Sunday I showed up, I had chords written down with big red Sharpie, for the key it was in. I didn't know anything about keys, but I knew if I put the capo here, and I walk up and the guy's like, "Oh, we changed all the keys and all the set." And I don't even know what happened that Sunday. But that was my first kind of learning how to play music was at church, and then led a Bible study for our school. And a lot of loading in and loading out for that. The school I went to was called Logos Prep. It was in Sugar Land. It's a small private school in Sugar Land, Texas. And then the campfires, like I mentioned earlier, I hinted at it, but we would have campfires in our backyard, and I'd play. That's where I started playing country music.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of my musical background. And then no one in our family is truly musical, to be completely honest. We don't know where it came from. My brother attempted to play guitar and learned Twinkle Twinkle Little Star on his guitar, and that was a failure to launch. And that's the first guitar.
He didn't get invited back to the campfire?
No. Would try to, but that's the guitar that I started learning to play on. So thankful for my brother for trying.
Yeah,
because there was a guitar. Yeah. That's the only reason we really had a guitar in the house. And that's kind of my background.
Yeah, that's cool. That is very cool. Well, is there a song that you've written that you feel like, I know we've heard Good Again, Amen, but is there a song that you've written that really kind of touches on that part of who you are that you could share with us?
I've been quick on the draw tonight. Song about who I am in that light of things, like growing up and...
Yeah, just growing up in your faith or just something that you've learned in your faith journey that you've captured in one of your songs.
All right. So this song is on Good Again, Amen. And the reason it comes to mind is where I learned to play guitar and spent a lot of those mornings of learning to write, like I was talking about earlier, of journaling and not writing songs, was on the couch in our living room. And this song was written, it was like I think it was January 1st or 2nd. Hadn't been home for a long time, was in school or right out of school and hadn't been home and sat down on the couch, and a lot of those feelings of being home, and being in your childhood home and not have been there for a while. And there's such a peace on our two couches in our living room. And I wrote this song, and it's called For What It's Worth. And I feel like it talks about the lessons that I've been taught by my parents, and the Cox family in general. We have a lot of Cox family here tonight at this table over here. Both my dad's brothers are here. My Uncle Billy and Uncle Chris are here tonight. Thanks for being here. And I feel like it's a part of who we are as Cox men, and the Cox family is in this song. It's called For What It's Worth. And I picked this song to be the center of the album because, in my opinion, if you've listened to Good Again, Amen, the whole album, it's 11 songs. And we can talk about it later, but it's, in my opinion, what I wanted to say with this whole album. So, yeah. Pulled a cup off of the shelf, made some coffee for myself, Sit back, sipped it in. For a moment I was quiet. It's been a while since I've been here, countless days, almost a year. Is it okay if I just stay in this moment for a while? I've heard good things come to those who wait. And hard work is hard, and there ain't no other way. I've been blessed, I've been cursed, I'm far from perfect, but I've learned it ain't all good, but life's still good for what it's worth. Another trip around the sun, another year has just begun. Sit back, take it in, just let your heart be quiet. Dream your dreams, hope your hopes, don't need plans, 'cause who knows which way the wind might blow. It's best just not to fight it. I've heard good things come to those who wait. And hard work is hard, and there ain't no other way. I've been blessed, I've been cursed, I'm far from perfect, but I've learned it ain't all good, but life's still good for what it's worth. Say I love you when you know. Sip a beer while it's still cold. Be grateful for the things you have, even when it hurts. 'Cause it ain't all good, but life's still good for what it's worth. Oh, it ain't all good, but life's still good for what it's worth. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah. Those are my favorite, man. Just songs with little morsels of truth, that you hang on to, that you pick up along the way. What a great song.
Man, thanks for asking the question,
Yeah.
I feel like it took me a while to come around to that one, but.
No, that's great. I love it. I've got another question brewing up here.
Sips. See, now we're catching on. See, I'm not the only one that can say sips, all right?
It's become a thing tonight.
This is the point in the night where everyone is on our page, Kyle. We got him.
We got him.
You didn't know we were going to have y'all, but we got y'all. Sips.
Sips.
Heck yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I was going to say it. I think I want a little break here, Chief. No, I'm just kidding.
Time for me to earn some money.
We were on the green room earlier, and I was like talking to Kyle's son, Case, and I was like, "Man, your dad's gonna get his guitar, and he's gonna turn to me and say, 'All right, son, this is how it's done.'"
No, actually, this is the point of the night where I go, okay, I've been doing this for like 30-something years, and Keller's been doing this for like 15 minutes, and he's so good.
No.
No, I really do love your songs. And I tell you what, I'm going to tell you what I think, and I'm not saying that this is, that this is all that you do, because you're not a one-trick pony. I like that you write about kind of all of the aspects of life, because I think sometimes for me, and I've grown up in the faith tradition, and I've grown up going to church, and you know, I think that it's important for us to get together in groups and celebrate all that's good, and it's important for us to get in groups and focus on hope and focus on what happens on the other side of redemption and forgiveness and all that kind of stuff. But man, it's so important as humans. It's so important. I'm not going to speak for humans. I'm going to speak for me. It's so important for me to hear the other side of the story, the pre-redemption side of the story, the side of the story where things were not going well, because it helps me understand the other side of the story more clearly. We need to help with that. Is everything all right? So I'll play you a song that I haven't played in a while, so I'm going to make sure I remember it. Bloodshot in the morning, last night on my tongue, wrestling with a demon that I just can't outrun. The sunlight begs the question, why can't I be a man and do the things I know to do, but just can't? But he can, yeah, he can. He can pull me through the darkness. When I reach out a hand, he can. Yeah, he can. Calm a raging sea with a peace I'll never understand. He can. Well, I've been trying to find a reason, cut myself some slack, but the mirror ain't your friend when you've gone this far down the track that leads you nowhere but some God-forsaken town, and you can't turn it around. But he can, yeah, he can. He can pull you through the darkness if you reach out a hand. He can, yeah, he can. Calm a raging sea with a peace you'll never understand. He can. And on that day of judgment, when I finally meet the man, and I can't cover up the sin that's on my hands, he can, yeah, he can. He can pull me through this darkness if I reach out a hand. He can, yeah, he can. Calm a raging sea with a peace I'll never understand. He can, yeah, he can, yeah, he can.
Heck yeah, man.
Thank you.
Can you enlighten us on the story? Where was Kyle Hutton at when that was written? You don't have to give us all the details, but I don't know. I'd love to hear it.
Hey, man, I'm kind of an open book. I think, man, and I know it's not just reserved for like creatives, you know, but I think some of the struggles and maybe addictive tendencies and that kind of stuff. I think some of it we come by honestly, genetically. I think some of it we come by the situations that we put ourselves in. And I think for me, unfortunately, usually it's a combination of both. I think I have some predispositions, and then I go, okay, well, let's just really put those to the test by being a singer-songwriter, right? And so really that song for me, I was listening to a preacher preach one time, and he was kind of doing the hellfire and brimstone thing, and he's like, well, if you can't pick yourself up, well, he can. Well, if you can't, well, he can. Well, if he can. And so the he can thing, and I'm like, okay, well, that's pretty cool, and I kind of put that in the back of my mind. And then it just, that thought came up along with kind of my own recognition of times in my life where I seem to be, powerless over my own decisions that I was making. And, as the ancient text reads, I don't do the things I want to do, and I do the things that I don't want to do. And why do I do that? I could do better and make different decisions. But I think that song was just kind of a part of an ongoing conversation with myself about, man, you wake up in the morning and go, man, why did I do that again? And at some point, the answer for me is, I'll probably keep doing it unless I rely on something bigger than myself, Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think that's probably where that one comes from.
Thanks for sharing that.
You're pretty good at this. You want to
hey man,
be in my seat and
tell me where to sign.
Interview some people. Yeah, might need to go on vacation. You can fill in. Okay, so I want you to play us another one that I don't lead you down a path. You pick one that you want to make sure that we hear and that we have, because again, this thing's playing in Dixon, Tennessee, and San Luis Obispo, California, and a bunch of other places, man. We want to introduce them to as much of your music as we can.
I'm thinking. I want to play a song about my beautiful bride, Miss Sarah Cox. She takes a 9-to-5 job every day, Monday to Friday, so I can be a weekend warrior and chase my dreams. And sometimes we're like ships in the night. And I want to play a song about her. And I'm going to play one that I wrote when we first started dating in college. Cool. And this is on one of the first projects I put out. And the story behind it is one night I was driving home from her house, and we were making small talk on the phone, and she jokingly asked me to sing her to sleep. And I was like, well, what do you want me to sing you, And she was like, well, just make up something. And so I was still had the bug, and so I thought about it for a second, and I sang something like, well, you wore my smile on a sidewalk, drawn yesterday with pink chalk, the gold band that I want on my hand. And I sang that, and I was like, I'll call you right back. And I hung up with her. Because I knew that if I didn't sing it into my phone, I'd lose the melody. I'd learned that at that point, if you got something, you might as well put it in your pocket and save it on for later. And I ended up finishing it that night. And I'd been listening to a lot of, you'll understand this reference, Adam Carroll at that point in my life. Mm-hmm. And I feel like I'd been oversaturated with Adam Carroll. And so that, John with pink chalk, that kind of throwaway, Adam Carroll style. And I've never met the guy. I'd love to one day, but phenomenal songwriter if you've never heard of him.
Great guy.
There's an album called Looking Through the Screen Door. Anyways, we could talk for hours about it. But I just had that and had the melody, and I ended up calling her back, saying goodnight to her, and wrote the song, and it's called Pink Chalk. And I'm going to grab the harmonica for this one. And yesterday was our 2-year anniversary, so look at that. I keep a letter from you in my little pocketbook. I like to read you when I'm on the road. keep a picture of you on my telephone too. I never have to sleep alone. They say a picture is worth 1,000 words, but I can't find the right ones to say. My heart's slowly falling, or is it just flying as we slow dance this life away? Well, you're my smile on a sidewalk drawn yesterday with pink chalk. You're the gold band that I wear on my hand. You're the answer to 1,000 prayers. Wherever I am, I want you there. 'Cause you're my lady and I'm your man. And if a picture is worth 1,000 words, I can't find the right ones to say. My heart's slowly falling, or is it just flying? Let's slow dance this night away. Well, I never really thought that I'd make it this far. I guess I was wrong. I guess happy ever afters aren't planned, they just happen. Wish I'd have known this all along. Wish I'd have known all along. That you're my smile on a sidewalk drawn yesterday with pink chalk. Oh.
Thank you. Very nice. Yeah, I don't know if I completed my thought process as I was introducing my song, but I think what I really enjoy about what you do is both in your music and in your live show and in your banter in between and everything else. Man, you're just a hopeful guy. And that's really cool because we need more of that, man.
Thank you.
I mean, like I want to hear the sad songs, and I want to hear because I feel like you're an authentic person. And at the same time, as one of the older guys out here writing songs in this scene, man, don't let them beat that out of you.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, good stuff, man. I love it.
Yeah, Will Green, I met him about a year ago, and he was like, "Oh, just give it 10 years, and you'll just be, you'll be a grumpy, But I'm not gonna let him put out my flame, man.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that, Kyle.
Yeah, man. It's very refreshing and very authentic, and I'm really enjoying this. Okay, so. Pick another one. I'd like to hear another brand new one. I'd like to hear another one that you're considering for your next project.
Right, yeah, for sure. Do we have time for a couple more? Is that?
We do, yes.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
I'm just making sure.
Let's try to get 3 more in.
Sweet. Heck yeah. We're going to do the shortened abridged. I'm going to stop talking so much. We're just going to play music.
Let's just play music.
Yeah. For my next record, Okay, this is one that's been special. Short story. We're having a Friendsgiving with our church home group in Dallas, Texas, and a buddy of mine are talking. And we're talking about, he's single, and we're talking about, his dating life. And I was like, isn't it crazy you can start a conversation with someone and it can span your entire life? And I was like, yeah, it's like a lifelong conversation. And I wrote this one. Thankful, I don't know how I did it, but was able to pen it myself, and hopefully going to pitch it around. Who knows? Maybe I'll cut it one day, but it's called Lifelong Conversations. Two strangers under neon lights. When she walked in, they locked eyes as he ordered another high life. She said, make it 2. where you from? What do you do? Turned into 5 months, and I love you. They didn't know it then, but that night was just the start of a lifelong conversation. It's a mystery to most and just too hard. It takes time, but it's worth your patience. You can't plan them, they just find you where you are. Lifelong conversations. It was a Sunday morning, back row pew, words in red, cut right through, right then and there. I bowed my head and gave him my whole heart. I didn't know it then, but that day was just the start of a lifelong conversation. It's a mystery to most and just too hard. It takes time, but it's worth your patience. You can't plan them, they just find you where you are. Lifelong conversations. Just like that make all the difference. Just look up, you never know, you just might miss it. Lifelong conversations, they're a mystery to most and just too hard. They take time, but they're worth your patience. You can't plan them, they just find you where you are. You can't plan them, they just find you where you are. Lifelong conversations. Lifelong conversations.
Yeah, man. That's a great one.
Thank you.
Yeah, you need to cut that one.
Why not?
Why not? I think it's great. Great song. Have y'all had a good time tonight? Yeah. All right. You get a couple more in you?
Absolutely.
Awesome. And you've got some merch over here, right?
We've got some merch.
Man, everybody needs to leave with some merch.
Outside of songwriting, one of my other talents in this life is turning t-shirts into tanks of gas, and I am pretty good at it. All I need is 15 minutes, and I'll turn to the boys some nights. I'm like, all right, we got to hit the road, early. You can only stay like 3 songs in the headliner set. And I turned to maybe a security guard the other day. I was like, watch this. I'm about to make $150 in 15 minutes. And then 15 minutes later, I turned to him. I was like, $150. Done. Taking a half a gas,
Fill her
man.
up. That's
So
right.
come see the t-shirts. Come on.
Yeah.
Come stop by. Now you know my secret.
Hello.
Whoops. They're all just going to leave right out of the door.
They have to go out that door. They'll have to walk by you
Heck
on the way
yeah.
out. The
Heck
walk
yeah.
of shame. Walk by and not buy any merch. I'm just kidding. Oh, you know what? Where's Joel and Christy? Y'all are still here. Good. Man, thank y'all for being sponsors of this show and for showing up every time to this show to come listen to the music. Here's the thing. I want to tell y'all this about these guys. They've been with us for 4 years, and they continually put money that they make in this community back into the culture of the community. And, there's a lot of people, if you've driven around the Woodlands, Texas, there's a lot of people that make money in this community, right? The Griffin Realty Group, my wife and I trusted them a couple years back to sell our house. I will tell you, they navigated the market. They got us more money than we thought we could get for it. And if you are interested in investing in real estate around here, There's nobody better to trust your money with. They know the market. They know when to buy. They know when to not buy, and they know what's available. And if you are in the market for a home or investment rental properties, I can't recommend them highly enough. So I always say, there's certain people you're going to spend money with, and if you're moving real estate, realtors are one of them. Do business with somebody that puts their money back into stuff that you love in your community. Griffin Realty Group, thank you guys for making nights like tonight possible. And my friends at Chicago Title, Houston, and Waste Connections. They couldn't be here with us tonight, but man, thank you, all of our sponsors, for everything you do to make nights like tonight possible. Okay, pick another one.
I think I've got the landing strip.
Okay, good.
We got two more? Yeah,
Yep.
I think this would be the right two to pick.
Make sure they are. Don't pick the wrong ones.
I think I got the right ones. As I've gotten, and we talked about this earlier, that my kind of role models of country music, when you hear like it's my role model, you're like, that was like a young kid, right? Pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much.
I don't want to go farther than that. Yeah. And anyways, these next two songs involve Mr. Josh Abbott from the Josh Abbott Band and Cleto Cordero, the Flatland Cavalry. And I think it's a good way to land the plane tonight. And so this next song, like I said, yesterday was my 2-year anniversary. On my first anniversary, we celebrated the weekend in Austin. And Sarah flew home to Dallas, and I stayed a day later and found myself knocking on, this was planned, by the way. I didn't just randomly knock on his door, but I was knocking on Mr. Josh Abbott's door for co-write. And I'm standing there with my guitar. We had scheduled this through our management. And I'm like, who in the world let me do this? Like, I'm standing at the Josh Abbott's house in Austin, Texas. And I remember listening to like She's Like Texas and those songs in high school. And we got to write a song together, and I figured I should play that one. I think from my experience, I hope one day I get to treat a young buck like they've treated me, because they've truly welcomed me into the Texas country family. And it's been the most surreal experience of my life, I remember calling my brother one Saturday. We had just opened, this is the start of Josh and I's relationship, and we'd opened for him at the legendary Cain's Ballroom in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And I'm grilling out, and I'm like, dude, I'm on the phone with my brother. I'm like, I was on Josh Abbott's bus last night. Like, what? I'm like processing this. Like, what is this? And I tell people, if this doesn't work out and I leave it all tomorrow, I would I have no regrets, Yeah. It's been such a joy to get to meet people, and now I get to add you to my short list of folks, that I get to look up to and have in my circuit of, hey, how do you do this? And have you ever been in this situation before? Because those guys are lifelines to me, and it's been an honor to be here tonight, man. So.
Well, it's been a pleasure to have you. And I remember when I first heard She's Like Texas, I was 47. And
oh, whatever. Really?
No, it's fun, man. This is really fun. I was telling him upstairs.
How old are you, Kyle? I'm just kidding.
Dude,
I'm just kidding.
Do the math. I graduated from college in '92. You can at least get close.
There we go.
So I was talking to Keller upstairs, and it's just, watching the evolution. And that's the cool thing, right? The cool thing is getting to be a part of the evolution of anything, right? And like my heroes, the very first concert my dad ever took me to was the Gatlin brothers at the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. So when Larry Gatlin sat in that seat that you're sitting in right now, and I got to have these conversations with him, that was amazing. And it's amazing when I get to have conversations with guys like you. And I want to encourage you by telling, we got here and the food's, upstairs hot, ready for everybody to come eat. And Keller's finishing up setting up merch over here, okay? Well, not more than probably 6 or 7 years ago, the same thing happened. I'm up here screaming down, hey, Shane, your food's ready. Well, Shane Smith of Shane Smith and the Saints was over here setting up his own merch. Well, they're selling out Red Rocks now. You know what I'm saying? So being part of the evolution of this thing and watching it happen, and I've got a cool front row seat to that. So man, I'm proud to be on a list of at least telling you what not to do in your career. You call anytime. Come be our guest anytime.
Heck yeah. Well, this song is called All American, and short story, I went into that weekend with no idea, and I was kind of stressing out because I was like, I need to have an idea to bring to Mr. Josh Abbott himself. And we were sitting at breakfast on Saturday morning, and there was this gal sitting all alone. She had the coolest tattoo sleeve. I was so intrigued. I was like, what is this girl's story? You know, and I just went back to the room, and I was like, basically started the song, and Josh and I finished it, and it's called All American. And it's for the girl that comes to the shows, that's on the front row, and she doesn't have a boyfriend with her, and she's just there for the music. And that's who it's for. And there's a tattoo hidden in the song she sings, wraps around her heart like a turquoise ring. Between the two, she hopes to find the strength. There's a tattoo hidden in the song she sings. At a table for two, she sits all alone, finds peace when she lets her wild heart roam. No place to go, but she feels at home. At a table for two, and she's fine all alone. She won't be tied down, she was made for running. From coast to coast, she lights it up, keeps on burning. Free as Appalachia, warm as the July wind. Yeah, ask her where she's from, all American. Springtime comes and wildflowers bloom. Here for a season, then it's time to move. Autumn leaves fall and the snow does too. Then springtime comes and wildflowers bloom. She won't be tied down, she was made for running. From coast to coast, she lights it up, keeps on burning. Free as Appalachia, warm as a July wind. Yeah, ask her where she's from, all American. Tied down, she was made for running. From coast to coast, she lights it up, just keeps burning. Free as Appalachia, warm as the July wind. Yeah, ask her where she's from, all American. Yeah, ask her where she's from, all American.
Have y'all had a good time tonight? Yeah, thank y'all for being here with us on a Wednesday evening. And be sure and go to realliferealmusic.com, click through to the YouTube page. You'll be able to see this full unedited show there. And then tune into stations like Maverick 100.9 out of Bryan College Station, Wheelock. And you can listen to the edited version of this show. Man, I can't tell you thank you enough for taking time on a Wednesday night to come down and hang out with us at the Do-Si-Do here.
I didn't know what to expect, but I'll tell you this. Anything I did that was not this. This has blown my expectations, this room, this conversation. So thank you so much, man. This has been a joy. Well, the acoustics in this room are outrageous. I could sing here
pretty
all
good, right?
day. Yeah,
that's cool. Well, we are honored to have you as part of our archives, and I know that we're going to get some amazing feedback from your already fans, and then hopefully we help you make some new ones. So.
Yes, sir, 100%. So,
well, what are you going to close us out with tonight?
Man, so we'll start off where we or end where we started off, with being around Texas country music. And the reason I'm doing this is because of a band that I heard on on Spotify called Flatland Cavalry, and they had just released their album Humble Folks, and I was a freshman at A&M, and I probably went to like 17 of their shows between my freshman and senior year of college. I was just a super fan, still am. And it was story, it was heartbreak, and I was like, who hid this from me my entire life? And lo and behold, now 5 years later, more than that, 6 or 7 years later, I've got to become friends with the band. They've accepted me into their family, and I'd call Cleto like a mentor. I called him up about a year and a half ago and said, hey man, would you sing on this song? And it was called Damn Good Friends. And he said, I'm going to tell you the same thing that Will Green told me. He said when he asked him to sing on Coyote, their song, he was like, if my voice can lend to the song, then I'm in. And it was probably like 4 or 5 months later that he called me. So I'm just sitting over here like, man, he doesn't like the song, or this is for sure not happening. And Cleto called me and is like, let's do it. And so I got to track this song. If you listen to it, it's playing on the radio right now. We tracked it simultaneously. So Cleto's standing there. There's a piece of glass in front of us, and I'm standing here across from my hero of songwriting. And it was, I feel like he pulled something out of me, man. I was pretty in my head about this record, red light fever as they call it when you start recording stuff. And he just walked in there, sunglasses on, freaking let it rip. And I was like, oh, that's how you're supposed to do that. And I'll never record songs the same way, Anyways, it's called Damn Good Friends. And I can't, being a quote unquote headliner, you're so fearful of like, man, is anyone going to show up tonight? And, Y'all made my night by showing up to this show. It means the world to me. This is going to be one of those shows where I look back on and hold it forever as one of my favorites. So I really appreciate y'all tonight. Sips to you guys. Sips! This song is called Damn Good Friends. Tracked with Mr. Cleto Cordero, the Flatland Cavalry. Know much, but a 12-pack is better than 6. 24's even better, with buddies to toss them back with. When you first meet that girl, tell me who talks you up, and tell me who's got your back when you take that punch. The road goes on forever and the party never ends. Sometimes you can't stop the hell life puts you in. It can sure feel like heaven, just depends who you're with. 'Cause you find out the real fun begins when you get some damn good friends. Stupid idea that you had, who was there by your side through the good and the bad and the times that you all could have died. Yeah, we sure didn't think it was funny back then. Now we bring it up every chance that we get. The road goes on forever and the party never ends. Sometimes you can't stop the hell life puts you in. It can sure feel like heaven, it just depends who you're with. 'Cause you find out the real fun begins when you get some damn good friends. I've got some damn good friends. And when you say yes to forever with the love of your life, who's right there beside you with tears in their eyes and a flask in their boot to pull out with a grin, saying here's to the last time we'll see you again. The road goes on forever and the party never ends. Sometimes you can't stop the hell life puts you in. It can sure feel like heaven, just depends who you're with. 'Cause you find out that real life begins. Oh yeah, that's when the real fun begins. When you get some damn good friends. I've got some damn good friends. When you get some damn good friends. I've got some damn good friends. Yes, I do.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Keller Cox.
Thank you so much.
Man, thanks for